Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome on back. You are listening to 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Jare with you in lovely Albuquerque, New Mexico. So over the last, I want to say 5 days, we've called a game in Logan, called a game in Toronto, and tonight we'll call a game in Albuquerque. How about that? And by the way, that is no hashtag grinding reference. That is no woe is me nonsense. I would do this every week of the year if I could. It is phenomenal, and I love it, and I appreciate it, and it is a fantastic gig. And I'm incredibly grateful not only for Utah State, but KSL for allowing me to do this, and the Utah Jazz for letting me fill in the other night, and for David Locke allowing me to step into his shoes as he filled in for Craig Bolerjack. What a great game last night, too. Jazz win 131-122, and I get it, like, you know, it's the Pacers. I understand all of that, but the fact that you had a 7-man rotation, Isaiah Collier goes for the full 48, dishes out 22 assists, and as you heard Will Hardy just mention, said, you know what? I told Isaiah after his first foul, like, hey, you can't be doing that because you're going to go 48 tonight. And he didn't consult anybody and didn't tell Isaiah Collier until midway through the first quarter that you better be a little bit more judicious with your fouls because I'm going to keep you out on the court a long, long time. But the big story of the day, certainly why the Jazz only had a 7-man rotation, because we got ourselves a blockbuster trade. And David Locke joins us. David, could it be? Is this a day yesterday that we'll point to and say the long collective nightmare came to an end?
Yes. It's over. The witch is dead.
Ding
yes.
dong, the witch is dead.
Yes. Well, the witch isn't totally dead.
No. We got the end of the year.
The witch better show its warts and its fangy teeth and its long fingernails and be particularly scary for the next 29 games. Then the witch is dead. But we actually have a tombstone built, and we have the obituary written, and we know the expiration date on the witch.
All right, so initial thought. When you saw this go down, give me David Locke and that, that mind spinning of yours. What's the immediate thought you had?
So I have just done a podcast that day and walk and talk about how I really thought now was the time to act. That the choice the Jazz had to make was, are they willing to use their cap space now, or use their money that would you end up taking their cap space out of play now, or do they go to the offseason and try to use their cap space to sign someone? And there weren't going to be a lot of teams with cap space, but it's so risky to go to the offseason and try to talk someone into coming to Utah when Brooklyn wants them and maybe somebody else is offering a trade deal. And it's just really, really hard to get done. And so I had finished my podcast that day and kind of thought, now's the time. And my thought was can you facilitate the Giannis deal in some way and get a player like an OG Anunoby, or can you get a Mikal Bridges out of New York if they're trying to get draft picks, which I don't totally understand why Milwaukee just wouldn't want the player. But nonetheless, that kind of concept. And so I did kind of think to myself, well, now is the time. But I never thought that. I never thought you were getting a 2-time All-Star. I never thought you were taking a $50 million contract. It was at a magnitude so much larger than where I think any of our heads were and had been. And so I think that truly is what jumped out to me at the moment. And then, no offense to Walter Clayton and Taylor Hendricks, but to give away player-wise, little to nothing. I think Clayton's got a chance to play. And then draft pick-wise, there's some real intricacies in here. I don't want to bore you with all of them, and this probably wasn't my initial reaction, but the Phoenix pick, they really traded Jaren Jackson Jr. The Jazz traded the Phoenix pick. The Phoenix pick has a chance. We'll see what it is. The Jazz traded the Phoenix picks, a hypothetical rotation player, and a maybe rotation player in Walter Clayton Jr. That's really what I feel like, and we'll see on Taylor. I don't have it feels so rough for Taylor right now. So there's a chance things can change. Players can evolve. Let's not pigeonhole someone to to pigeonhole someone to what they are today. But they traded 227 picks in a not very good draft, and those picks will both be 15 or beyond, hopefully. And that means you're getting a rotational player. That's like what the odds say on that. And then the 2031 pick, we'll see, out of Phoenix. But, you haven't seen a lot of teams this side of Joe Dumars' New Orleans Pelicans who don't have their own pick and end up, being in the top 10. When teams don't have their pick, they usually try to win, right? The teams that are in the top 10 of the draft are teams that got there on purpose. So other than this year's incompetence by New Orleans, you almost never see what Atlanta's going to get this year. So I even think that one's we just didn't give away a lot. What we took was a $50 million contract, so it's a huge swing. It's not perfect, but boy, it's really good. And it does mean we're competing and we're viable and we're relevant and we matter. And we were in the news for a day for the first time in how many years? And we might get national TV games depending what our draft pick is next year. And it matters. We'll put together a basketball team, and opening night next year will be with excitement and possibility in a way that we haven't been since the last year of Quinn Snyder.
A two-time All-Star, a Defensive Player of the Year. He's 26 years old. He's still, he's under contract through 2030 at a big number, sure, but certainly a resume deserving of that contract and a skill set deserving of that contract. So walk me through what next year's, a draft pick to be named later, but a starting lineup that consists of Walker Kessler, if the Jazz are able to bring him back on restricted free agency, Jaren Jackson, Larry, Ace Bailey, Keontae George. How does that team mesh together opening night in 2026?
I think it's huge and long, and it gives you all sorts of options, and it's really interesting. It doesn't have any ball handling, right? It's short ball handling. It might be short a shooter, depending where Ace Bailey is. But the roster's getting close. You need it. I was talking to one of our players the players are so excited. Maybe that's the most important thing. I talked to Lowry for 5 minutes today. Keontae came up to me what do you think? They're all everyone's so excited. The bus last night had more, communication and talk on it than it's had before any game. I thought they played with a lot of juice last night, and so you could practice today had it. The coaches are all more excited. Everyone's just engaged and energized by this around the team, including myself, but I don't matter. The guys that matter are just so energized by this. Lowry was chatting about, the next pieces of the puzzle, and Keontae was talking about, what do you think? And how does it fit? And what do you think? Jare needs Walker and Walker needs Jaren. It's actually, that's the best mix of this too, is the Walker-Jaren aspect of it. Lowry said it doesn't matter if he plays a 3 or 4. Jaren can do stuff on ball, and he's an off-ball player. And I asked Lowry about the fact that neither of them really pass and get assists, and he's like, yeah, but I think we both play the game the right way. So these guys have all talked about it. Keontae's been texting Jaren. Will's been texting Jaren, and it's everyone's juiced about it. So, all right, your question, I think, was
how does that team come together, play together? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take some time to figure it out. That team's short ball handling, probably short shooting. It's got great size. It should be better defensively. I think it's maybe Will's pretty good offensively, so maybe it gets to be the 10th best offense in the NBA and the 18th best defense or something like that. That's a good team. That gets you in the ballpark. And then you got to figure out the pieces around it. You need a sniper. You need talking to the guys. They're we need a real dead-eye sniper because a lot of what you're going to be doing is punishing switches because you're going to be running everyone switching 1 through 4, and you've got 3 guys that are big. Ace is probably not strong enough to punish it yet, but you're running Keontae off Jaren. You're running, Jaren and Lowry into something, and you're running Keontae involved, and so now you've got a switch, and you're going to punish the switch down low. When they bring the double or they bring help, you got to be able to have somebody outside that can really bury it. So they need that on the roster. They don't have that. They probably need a little bit more ball handling. So it's not a finished product, but it's pretty exciting.
How much of the accelerated development of Keontae George allowed the Jazz to pull the trigger now?
100%. If Keontae George does not develop, I think you're trading Lowry Markkanen and hitting a reset. There's a real chance, right?
Yeah, that's my thought.
I I don't know if that's the case, and Austin might disagree with me that you still try to. But no, the fact that Lowry's a top 40 player, Jaren Jackson's a top 40 player, and Keontae might be a top 40 or 50 player allows them to go to Ryan Smith and say, okay, this is a little jacked up. This doesn't really work. $100 million for these two players combined is too much, but it can work for these following reasons for a while, and we'll deal with it. This is the first iteration. It's not perfect. This is the first iteration of it, and it's going to have to make some adjustments. And frankly, having Lowry and Jaren Jackson at $100 million between the two of them is probably not ideal in this version of the way the salary cap works. But it's going to get a little tricky because by the end of, I think by 27, 28, 2 years in, I think Lowry, Jaren, and Keontae are $140 million. Yeah. And then you add Walker, and it's probably could be as much as $170 million. Well, ask Ace, and that's $140 million. Like, that's getting tight. The other subtle one here to me is your remaining pieces, Filipowski, Sensabaugh, Collier, and Cody Williams. Again, I've said this the whole time. You only need like one or two of them to hit. You really don't need an awful lot there. The role for them, and I paused there for a second because I don't want to disrespect them in a manner but how they fit into this specific roster gets much easier for them. Right? Like, can Cody Williams be a defensive wing player who improves some ball and knocks down enough shots? Can Isaiah Collier be a change of pace guard? Can Kyle Filipowski play the 4 next to Jaren Jackson? I don't know the answers to these questions, but I do think that that's what we're talking about. Jaren Jackson's a much better 4 than a 5, by the way. Let's make sure that's clear. Jaren Jackson is a much better 4 than a 5. Defensively. Offensively, he can do either, but defensively, he doesn't rebound. And so, none of those guys are very good rebounders. The irony is we could have a 7-foot front court of 3 7-footers that don't rebound.
So is there a certain element of trust involved, knowing that he's better at the 4, that the Jazz feel comfortable that they can that Walker Kessler comes back healthy and that they'll be able to hold on to Walker Kessler?
I mean, I think Walker's a restricted free agent. You haven't seen restricted free agents leave very often, right?
No.
Let's just go on that. But
when you have the $100 million to two of those players, it might alter your thinking just a bit. But yeah, you're right.
And it might. On the other end, frankly, Walker Kessler is going to be appealing to, if the Jazz don't keep Walker Kessler, or the Jazz sign Walker Kessler for a 4-year something $1 million, 100 and whatever, call it 25 or 30, whatever you want to call it. Walker Kessler will be appealing on the trade. Walker Kessler's a good player. Walker Kessler will be appealing on the trade market to whoever makes the decision to go get Walker Kessler.
David Locke joining us. No, I'm with you.
Right. That would. Yeah.
So even if look, somebody goes out there, they sign him to a 4-year, $30 million contract, and you match it, that doesn't mean you can't parlay that into something else down the line.
Right. This is the first iteration, and the first iteration is fine, and then you pay Keontae, and it gets a little less fine. Then you pay Ace, and it's not okay. And then if you have another draft pick coming, you're going to have to deal with that again at a later time. So there are certainly issues at stake here, but it's not. None of them are catastrophic.
Just
I mean, you can't you're not like it's like I was talking to someone today, and it's not perfect, but this is a tremendous move forward. It's the first move made in years to get better, right? It's to become a better. Like Lowry literally said to me, "This is the first time we've gotten better since I've been here."
Woo! Wow, he's right.
But that's true.
I mean, he's absolutely right. Yeah, he's 100% right.
I don't think Lowry meant that meanly. He just meant excited. And I actually really think, and the one that I was like, the one I was actually talking to Lowry about, and this was me talking, not Lowry, is that like the off season just changed for these guys because there's two motivators in life, and I actually just talked to Key about this. There's fear and there's pleasure. Those are the two motivators in life, right?
Yep.
Like think about it. At least that's my theory. So you're either motivated because you want pleasure, or you're motivated because you're scared blankless.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it depends whichever it is. Like every night before I do a broadcast, I know which mine is. Scared. Like I'm going to make a total ass of myself. Right? Like I'm totally scared every night. Like,
yeah.
So you're going into like, why did you not go to Black Camel like you should have in Toronto? Because of that. That was your motivator, right? Fear,
I was fear. Yeah. You told me a great sandwich place. And I instead hold myself up in the hotel room prepping for 3 hours. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Because you used 30 minutes of that prep instead of having one of the best barbecue sandwiches you ever have in your life. So you need to consider things. But anyway, I was talking to Lowry about this, and like Lowry doesn't have any fear anymore. Right? He's made his money. He's an NBA player. The only thing Lowry has left as a motivator is pleasure. Well, playing basketball games that matter is his pleasure.
Yeah. And
so, like, when Lowry's on the hard like, and I'm speaking to Lowry. I want to, like, make this, these are not Lowry's words. But, like, when Lowry has the hard day, there's always the hard day. Like, Lowry's incredibly disciplined, but he's not a robot. Well, the hard days can be way easier to get through this offseason. In fact, you might do 2 extra sets because there's really exciting stuff going on. And that's pretty great.
Yeah. And I think there is an element of it's go time. And the fact that you've heard that from people on the team, because trades aren't fun. These are friends. These are coworkers. These are guys. Look, I just lost a coworker and I'm still in a funk over it. So, yeah, I mean, I understand the difficulty of it, but when you have that high level of excitement, high tide lifts all boats. And I think the off-season thing is absolutely correct.
And, like, Keontae was motivated by fear in the offseason.
Yeah.
Right? Because he didn't know whether he was going to be an NBA player or not. Well, now he's going to be motivated by it's 96-96 with 3 minutes left in a ballgame that matters.
Hey, by the way, what's our ceiling looking like for him? Because his elevation in this year, is there still a lot of improvement to go from him? Because right now it's phenomenal to see what he's been able to put together.
Yeah, I don't know. He's really skilled. He's really talented. He's really athletic. He's really strong. He's got a touch. He had a month there that was like ridiculous. The league changed the rules in the game, and so now he's not as ridiculous because the league changed the rules in the middle of the season again, which is super cool. Joke. I mean, I don't think he's December. Like, that was stupid, right? Like, didn't he, like, he averaged 28 points a game, shot 48% and 44% from 3 and 90. Like, that's like, there's 10 guys in the league that can have that month. But even after they changed the rules, he's still 47, 39, 23 points a game. He's going to the free throw line. Stunningly, he actually went to the free throw line not quite as drastically less as everybody else in the league. But he's still pretty good. So I don't know what his ceiling is, honestly. Like, I do think numbers are inflated a little bit, so I get a little nervous to just be like, well, he's 24, 4, and 7, and this has only been done by this many guys. Like, we're playing a lot more possessions. We're scoring a lot more points as a league. And so that feels a little bit like, be careful with that one. But he's really good. Like, he's really, like, compare him to the guys in the league right now. He's big time. So I don't know. And I say that like I don't know out of respect for how big a jump he's taken this year. And this is a jump that very few players have ever taken in a season.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. And the other one I would just say, like honestly, also I don't know. People might laugh at me. This might be stupid. Is he's just delightful in a way that honestly he just wasn't before, because he wasn't probably as comfortable in his own skin. And so there's a whole two-part thing that's going on here, that he has grown up and gained social and life confidence that should allow another jump, or at least maintain the jump, right? Like, so that's my other thought. It's great.
By the way, Lloyd's accusing you of a check swing on the scared bleepless, and I think he's right. I think you almost came full.
And I did not go. And I did not go.
We had to go to first base for a ruling on it, and it was close.
I did not go. I did not go.
We quickly pulled the on-air feed, be like, wow, that was really close.
Check swing might be fair. I had the first syllable.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree if the first syllable was there.
Yeah. You didn't fully go all the way around, but it was close. Yep. It was close. David, you're the best, man. Appreciate it. And by the way, can't thank you enough for the opportunity and the vote of confidence. That was an absolute blast.
Well, you can give me for vote of confidence, but I don't have the power to choose that. I just suggest. But you're also it's very comfortable when you're sitting in that chair. I'm not worrying about the show at all. I'm not worried about how it's going. You're absolutely terrific, and I appreciate you.
And you know what? I think Booner likes it because he can. I let that horse run. Whatever he wants to do, I'm like, Booner, you go, man.
Is that why he was so tired last night? Because you actually made him work a full show? Just kidding.
Even Thurl was giving him grief too. It's like, hey, you okay back there? What's going on?
Well, yeah, he did actually. Well, I don't know if you heard about this, but we flipped to the TV and they showed you guys. I was like, wow, I've never seen Boone's mouth move so much.
Yeah, I went back and watched that. That was awesome.
I didn't know Boone could talk that much. Where did that come from?
And Thurl's like, I know you don't. Hey, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. Well, let's talk again soon.
My pleasure. Fun day for Jazz fans. Season tickets for next year are available. All the good, exciting stuff.
There you go. David Locke, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed coming up next, right here on The Zone.